Hard pass, NFL Spotlight. We're going to do the Cincinnati Bengals, Remy.
My Cincinnati Bengals.
You are a fan of the Bengals. You've been rooting for them since you drafted Joe Burrow in fantasy.
Big Bengals guy here. My second team. Super Bowl runner-up, Cincinnati Bengals.
You know, it's weird because they're in the AFC.
Yeah.
And that's your second favorite team.
Yeah. I mean, well, my whole thing with the Bengals goes all the way back to when Andy Dalton was drafted, because you know me, I'm a TCU guy.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton fan, Andy Dalton, AJ Green. Good team. I mean, good players, but the team never really did anything. But Joe Burr is my guy. That is my dude. And man, I tell you, he is special. We were talking about it right before we started filming this. What we projected them to do last year was not close to a Super Bowl run.
I think we said 5 wins. They ended up going 10 wins and then a Super Bowl run.
All because Joe Burrow.
You get some things right. You get some things wrong. We did say this is probably the best offense. We said that their offensive line was going to be bad, but you did. We said that their wide receivers were really good, which they were. We didn't expect Joe Mixon to have
the year he had. I mean, I always knew the talent was there, but didn't see that explosion come out of him.
You know, here we are talking about a team that went all the way to the Super Bowl. I think this team actually wins this division this year. I think they have a really good team. They're well coached. The biggest surprise was the defense. You know, the defensive coach kind of got everything put together.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about the acquisitions they had. They ended up becoming really good. They come to light there with the defensive end from the Saints and Trey Hendrickson. He was very vital to how good this team was.
I will say that defense last year is – so back in the day, the Dolphins had a defense name called the no-name defense, and I will say that's about what this defense was last year.
Yeah, this defense has maybe one of the best safety combinations in the game. Von Bell, Jesse Bates III, they're both insanely good safeties.
Not a whole lot of household names on this defense. Yeah. Of course, Jesse Bates, if you're an NFL fan, you should know who Jesse Bates is at this point.
Right.
And after what happened last year, you should definitely know who Trey Hendrickson is. Mm-hmm. But going into last season, you look at this defense and you're like, dude, I mean, because even think about it, like Trey Hendrickson on the Saints, I thought he was a good football player. You know, people that like really watch, you could see Hendrickson had some stuff in him that he could be a special player. But he wasn't he wasn't a household name. He's not a guy they're talking about on all the sports media shows and everything. So he was just kind of an unheralded signing that really panned out. But that's this whole defense from last year. And they played above and beyond the names on the back of the jersey and had a really, really good year.
And, you know, the offense speaks for itself. You know, we're gonna get into it here, but before we get into it, I want to say we appreciate each and every one of you guys for hitting this button, for hitting this video, for listening. Please comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new. We're
hit the little bell that tells you when one of these
notifications. We go live every Tuesday. We're going to be going live on Thursdays now with some fantasy football stuff, so look out for that. And just kind of give you like a little basic rundown. We got a new logo, which you can see in that corner. And we're just trying to mix it up and do some different stuff. And we appreciate each other. So, yeah, definitely hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at HardPass, which is down there. And we're trying to get that Twitter account built up. And if you want it real quick, these are our Twitter accounts.
Boom.
Mine's EGI-T-Bone. His is Rembreezy72. But boom. With all that being said, Remy, we're diving straight in to the depth chart. And of course, we have the best quarterback in this division, and Joe Burrow.
Joe Cool, baby. Number 1 in the division. My guy. Dude, this weekend I went back and was looking at the things he did. that year at LSU, dude, he threw 60 touchdown passes in a college football.
That's what I was like. He made the SEC look like a joke.
60. We're not talking like you. I mean, we talk about a lot in our lives. Like we used to watch the old Hawaii games and the stuff that they did. No one threw 60 touchdown passes at Hawaii. This was in the SEC. My man had 5,600 passing yards and 60 touchdowns. Dude was nuts. Came into the year last year. You know, the big question was the health. Can you keep him upright? Can you keep him healthy? They didn't do their best job at it. They definitely let him get hit a little too much, but he still prevailed.
My Ohio State intel was talking to him a little bit about Joe Burrow, and he said, man, he's been this good ever since he stepped on Ohio State's campus.
Really?
Yeah, they said injuries was his biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, he gets stuck behind 2 first-round draft picks in quarterback. They really wanted him to stay. They tried everything they could.
I wonder why
to make him stay.
I wonder why.
But he wanted, he wanted for sure game time.
Yeah.
Once because his year when he was there, they're like, hey, listen, we're going to give the start nod to the other guy, and he goes, okay, I want to go ahead and make the transfer happen. I need to do something. Which you see how good he is. Where Joe Burrow wins, and this is one of those things where scouting a quarterback is the hardest thing to do in any sport. Is up here.
Mentally.
He wins up here. He wins in the head. He doesn't have the biggest arm. He is deadly accurate. But he sees what's happening and he can register it faster than normal. That's what makes him elite. That's his elite thing. It's kind
his
of
pocket presence is also for a guy
good.
This young into his career, adjusting to NFL defenses. I mean, you saw it when he was in college. You've seen it in the NFL. He's always looking up. He's always looking downfield. He's always looking for the play to be made. Now, he has helped out some with this fantastic group of playmakers that he has.
Yeah.
But he's the real deal. Best quarterback in the division.
Best QB in the division. One of the best in the league.
Yeah.
After last year, I mean, there's no doubt in what my man Joey B can do.
Trending upwards
for sure. It's already won and it can go even higher.
Yep.
Ceiling is the Super Bowl for sure. Yep. Winning it. Going to Joe Mixon, you look at these numbers. Joe Mixon had a great year last year. He also
hell of a year.
He caught 300 yards receiving too. The biggest thing for Joe Mixon was he was actually productive. Like he's always been the guy. He's always had the talent.
He was always a guy that got you a lot of rushing yards. He always had a lot of yards. Never really was great at getting the ball in the end zone. He's not the best pass catcher. Last year, he had a good year receiving, 42 catches. That's a good bit out of the backfield. Right. Previous years, you didn't get that much out of him out of the backfield catching the ball. But last year was the year he seemed to kind of put it all together. 1,200 rushing yards, 3rd in the NFL. 13 rushing touchdowns, 4th in the NFL.
Where Joe Mixon took that next step is he didn't face a lot of loaded boxes.
Yeah.
Because the wide receivers are so good.
I think people, your everyday fan that doesn't, watch a lot or like break down the game that way, that means so much from a team that didn't really have as much of a vertical threat. Even I'll say Joe Burrow's rookie year, the vertical threat was still not really there. So these teams can load up that box, and it's just a numbers game. It's a numbers game. You've got on most running plays, you've really got 5 true blockers going against, if they have an 8-man box, it's hard to run the ball. Most teams will go 7-man box.
If they can bring their safeties down, you got problems.
It's tough.
But you can't with these wide receivers.
Nope.
So
that's
where he really. I mean, it all kind of was like a perfect storm. We know how good Joe Mixon is. I mean, like him, hate him or like him, he's split in the NFL world. A lot of people, for other reasons, maybe not like Joe Mixon, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah,
he's a great running back, and on the field, he's a great running back, and having this crazy wide receiving core definitely opened up a lot more running lanes. I think this offensive line in general last year was very poor, but they were pretty solid in the run game. There actually was a solid running offensive line. But we have Joe Mixon coming in at 3. on
It's
our
close,
1 through 4.
We
It's
talked
close
about a
with
couple
him
of ones, 2A, 2B type of deal.
Yeah, it's close with him and the Steelers, and of course Najee. Reason why we're giving Najee the nod is he had to do it with literally nothing else helping him.
Yeah, and I just think the receiving ability that Najee showed last year just gives him a slight bump over Joe Mixon. Like I said, Joe Mixon had a good receiving year last year. That's not really been his game for the rest of his career. Najee last year,
Joe Mixon's clearly in a better situation.
Clearly, yes. What did Najee have last year? I mean, Najee had 1,200 rushing yards as a rookie.
Yeah,
but he also caught 74 passes.
Mm-hmm.
So I give Najee
he's one of the best pass catching running backs in the league.
But Joe is no slouch.
Joe is no slouch. But yeah, so we're coming to 3 here. It's right behind Najee. I definitely think Najee's a better football player than Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon's got don't get me wrong, Joe Mixon's still a good football player. He's in a really good situation. I really like this team. I really like this offense. Yeah. This offense is cracked, my boy. Yeah. Moving into the wide receivers, and I mean, is there a better pass catching trio?
This is the best. Yeah, this is the best. The league. This is the best group of pass catchers, I think, in the entire NFL. Just the 3 wide receivers. I mean, just look at this. This is crazy. You've got Jamar Chase who comes out and puts out. You know what Justin Jefferson did as a rookie, you would think, man, we may never see that again, or it's going to take a long time. And then literally Jamar Chase comes out the very next year and does even better. You know, best rookie year we've probably ever seen in Jamar Chase last year.
Yeah, so he has 100. I mean, he has 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. He was a
rookie.
So when we were all hyping him up, we're like, this dude's legit. This dude coming out of college, he could be one of the best pass catchers.
Remember, not only was he a rookie, he also did not play football
a whole
the previous year.
Yeah.
He didn't play football the year before that. He sat out a whole year.
Everybody's like, Jamar Chase, he had some drops in the preseason. Dude. They're saying that they were saying him without the white stripes, he can't see the football.
He was so bad last preseason. Let's not sugarcoat it. He was awful in the preseason.
But it took him a preseason to shake the rust off.
Yeah. As soon as that regular season started, though, I mean, it was just no doubt. Just no doubt.
This dude's unbelievable.
And then you throw in T. Higgins, who is,
1,000 yards. He's a beast.
I mean, you look at these numbers. T. Higgins could be a 1 on a lot of other teams in the league. So, and he's 23 years old.
And then you have one of the best slot guys.
And then Tyler Boyd, who's for the last several years put up really good numbers there in Cincinnati. So, if I was lined up and you told me Tyler Boyd was my 3rd wide receiver, I'd be like, I guess I can live with that. I guess I'll get by.
They did lose their the tight end, but
they did.
We'll see how good Hayden Hurst is a good pass catcher.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit of a homer pick here. I mean, he was a 1st-round draft pick. Clearly, the talent's there.
Right.
He's just been in unfortunate situations. He got drafted by Baltimore the same year they drafted Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Mark Andrews,
maybe the first or 2nd best tight end.
Then he went to the Falcons.
And then he goes to the Falcons, and then the next year they draft Kyle Pitts, and you're going to play Kyle Pitts. You're not going to bench Kyle Pitts. So now he gets a chance to be the guy at tight end. Now, it's a situation of how many passes are they going to have to go around with all these guys?
They'll have enough. He'll have like 600 receiving yards.
Don't get it twisted. I think he very well could be. He'll flirt with double-digit touchdowns.
This is the biggest. We're moving on the O-line, and this is the biggest upgrade they possibly could have done.
Oh,
they went out and they got La'el Collins, who is a beast.
They add La'el Collins.
They draft.
They get him back.
They
get him back. He missed last year, so he's a 1st-round pick. They get back. They brought in Kappa. They brought in Ted Karras. I mean, they did what they needed to do. They went and got offensive linemen for what was their biggest weakness. And while I still don't think it's a great, top tier
crazy
offensive line,
but I mean, in this division,
upgrade.
In this division, they have some good offensive lines.
Yeah, Oh, I mean, some of the best.
But
this is the second best division in football. Like, if y'all watch all these videos, you're gonna be like, man, there's really shitting on this position group. No, we're not. These are the outside of, I will say, probably outside the AFC West, which is just nuts this year.
Yeah.
This is probably the second best division in football.
I think just tough. I don't know about overall record. I just think as teams and rosters are built, I think this is just one of the better divisions in football.
Like, I mean, we literally just said that Joe Mixon's the third best running back in the division. There's some divisions he's the best running back in the division. It just happens to be this one's loaded at these positions. So
we're coming in O-line at 3, right?
I still think the O-line is not elite, but it is so much better than it was last year. I do think it's the third best offensive line.
If this offensive line can just be above average to serviceable and above average, they're going to be unbelievable.
This team's going to be a real problem this year.
And then we'll go look at the defense. And this is the biggest surprise that everybody had. I mean, this is why we picked them to win 5 games. We had no clue who these guys were. We kind of talked about it earlier. About the no-name guys. We did know I was a giant Trey Hendrickson guy, and I still am. Yep. We kind of went back and forth here. We did have the Steelers coming in at number 2 in the D-line group. I think they're number 2. It's up for debate because of Casey Hayward. I really like this D-line. This D-line has a lot of guys that just get it done. Nothing crazy. Yep. They have Sam Hubbard is a solid number 2. He had 7.5. Nothing flashy. They're nothing flashy. He had a really good postseason, by the way. Sam Hubbard did.
Oh yeah. No, these are talented dudes. DJ Reader, I think, is he's scratched and just really. He's not going to put up big numbers. He's 340 pounds. Like, he's just a big dude. He's going to be there to clog up lanes. That's what they need him to do. BJ Hill is more of the pass rushing D tackle. He had 5.5 sacks last year, which 5.5 sacks for a defensive tackle, that's great. That is.
So it's almost like 2A, 2B here with the Steelers. But we're for ranking's sake, we're all going to have them third. But I think this group's really solid. And it's overall, you'll see with this defense just gets it done. It is what it is. We'll go into the linebackers and we're going to have the backers coming in at 2 here. And it's a bunch of guys that maybe you never heard of, but a bunch of guys that got it done because in a 4-3, they're a little more exposed to the openness of it. They have to do more work and kind of get it done. But we have them coming in at 2 here in linebackers. And this is kind of similar to the Browns in the linebacking core, where I think the Browns have a lot of talent as well, but we're going to put him at number 2 at the Bengals. What do you think about the backers?
I mean, you touched on it, dude. If I went up to most people and said, "Hey, man, what's your thoughts on Logan Wilson this year?" People wouldn't know. Most people wouldn't know who I'm talking about. You go look at the year he had. He's an outside linebacker. He had 100 tackles, 100 combined tackles, 4 interceptions last year. I mean, he just gets it done. He's just always in the play, Not going to put up gaudy. Now, 4 interceptions for a 4-3 outside linebacker is pretty good. But other than that, they're not gaudy numbers, but he's just always in position. Pratt, the middle linebacker that they have out there, kind of the same thing. Not anyone that you would. Yeah, but he just 91 tackles last year, 2 forced fumbles, had a pick. He's their run stopper type of guy. He's not going to be on the field for third downs a lot of time, but just all around pretty good player. And then the Davis Gaither kid, he's the one that you still kind of wonder,
what's going on with
him? Take another step? Is he going to be able to become an act? He missed some games last year, but he's the question mark there. But if they can get out of him what they got out of the other guys last year, then this linebacking core is going to be good.
For this team, this defense needs to stay on pace. They need to be kind of a takeover heavy team. They need to take advantage of other teams' mistakes. They're going to have some decent pass rush in the D-line. They need to still be stingy in the secondary. The secondary, moving on to the secondary, we have them coming at number 4, but that's not a slight on the secondary because they have, like I said, 2 of the best safeties in the whole world.
Yep.
But the problem is Eli Apple is a starter on this team.
Eli Apple starting at corner is tough for a lot a lot of reasons. I mean,
Eli Apple's the butt of a lot guy. He's the other. He's one of the corners. He had a pretty solid year.
Yeah,
he's a young guy. We'll see if he could take that next step. Eli Apple's just hilariously bad. But if they can just continue to take the ball away, as those Jesse Bates and Von Bell, those safeties are true. They are good,
without a doubt. That is, we already talked about Buffalo and what they throw out there at the safety position, and I think this is right. Probably not right. Not one, but probably two or three as far as safety combos in the league. This is a very good safety room.
This is a very good team. If you look at, I'm saying they win 12 football games.
I got them at 12.
Okay.
I wanted to say 13. 13's tough.
13's tough. I think they're I think they're maybe not quite there in the regular season wise.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a problem in the postseason. When you have the quarterback room and the pass catching guys, they're going to be an issue in the playoffs. I think that maybe this defense, if you want them if they just stay where they did last year, maybe they can go for 13. They'll maybe regress a little bit. Yeah. That's why I have them at 12. They only won 10 football games last year. So making that next step, winning 2 more, I think they definitely can do it. I think they're definitely the best team in this. We have a team that wins 7 in the Steelers, 9 in the Browns, 11 in the Ravens, 12 in the Bengals. This is a solid division.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has constructed – nobody has hilarious Jets roster. There's none of that. Like if you look at the Steelers, they have an insane defense.
Yeah.
Their defense is really good. They're just
high floors across the board.
Yeah, everybody has a high floor. The ceiling is whatever they can get out of the QB. You look at the Browns. If they can just hang in there and win some close football games with Jacoby Brissett, maybe they close it out in the year. They have a lot of wants. They have the best running back room, the best O-line, the best D-line. You have those, they get you places. You look at the Ravens. The Ravens have an insane secondary. They have a really good quarterback who can do a lot of multiple things. They struggle in pass catching. They struggle in health. If they can figure those 2 things out, they'll be good. They might do better than our 11 wins. And then you come to the Bengals. The Bengals are, we know what the Bengals are. If that defense could even take another baby step forward, now we're talking 12, 13 wins.
Yeah.
So
this offense won't be an issue. I promise you that. The defense, just like you said, if they stay pat, I think they can win 11, 12 games. If they take a step forward, this is a 13, 14 win team.
Yep.
I think they're a very good team. Very talented. My baby Bengals have grown up.
They are growing up in front of our eyes. So that's it for the NFL Spotlight AFC The North edition, where we have the Bengals coming out of the division and winning it. We will be back next time with the AFC South. Later.